today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Welcome to episode 107 of Shop Talk. It's Jennifer,
And Carrie.
and it's been a busy week. We've had upfronts. There was a lot of content that came from that. And we had part one of the season finale, which was insane. And there's a lot to talk about. So let's jump in with some news first. First, we have the promo for next week. I mean, really, like, that's not like how we chronologically started the week in terms of news, but we have to talk about the promo because our favorite feds are back next week.
I literally, like, you guys don't understand. I literally dropped my phone. That's why I was like all caps on the Shop Talk account, and I was like, that doesn't make any logical sense. And I was like, did someone else do the feds? Like, what does that even mean? Like, no, I
Yeah,
meant like in the promo, like not on the episode. But then other people were saying that like Kevin's Instagram or whatever made them think that like they were
it
in
was.
this like
Mhm.
part, and I was like, no, it's next week.
Yeah,
So, anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, like, I wasn't expecting it, number one. And like, we had seen Garza, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like, we're gonna get Garza back,
Yeah,
fine.
like that's fine.
And I truly did not expect we actually get two of the agents back.
Yeah.
But then when I was watching the promo, I'm like, I zoned in more so on Kevin, and I was like, I swear to God, that's Kevin Zager. Like, I swear to
That's what
God.
I
And
did too.
it was blurry, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's him. Like, I didn't even see
Yeah.
Britt at first, and I was like, if we get him back too, that's great. I truly was not expecting like multiple people back. And
Yeah.
then you had pointed out that it was Britt, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh my God, we're
Well,
getting
no,
Bretta
see,
back.
well, because I was like, this is how my mind works. I was just like, where there's Kevin, like there has to be Britt because like if like well in like the character point of view
Yeah,
though,
yeah, yeah.
it's like he would have still been like a, rookie agent or
Mhm.
whatever. So like what the heck would he be doing like with Garza just like out in the field doing
Yeah,
all the things? Um, but then I had remembered obviously Britt had cut and dyed her hair, which is
yeah,
why people did not recognize her
yeah,
um at first. But yeah, so I was just, oh my God, I about like lost my mind.
yeah.
Still losing my mind, but it's fine.
Mhm. I know. And now, like, it makes me wonder if we had had a full season of like 18 episodes or how many ever, if we would have seen them more. And this
Yeah.
is just like the start of it. I don't know. Like, I'm not expecting to see them all the time, but it's nice to know that
No.
they can still pop up.
Well, yeah, because I remember we talked about that like way back when or whatever. Like, oh, maybe they can, pop
Yeah.
up still or whatever. But it's like I seriously wasn't expecting that.
No.
Yeah, and even my mom was like, "Oh, so does that mean like, Niecy Nash is back?" And I'm like, "No, she wasn't on there. Just a few of them."
Yeah.
So like not everyone is back from
But it
like
does
that.
make me
So
wonder though, because
I don't
Makia
know.
had said in one of the videos for the upfronts that we'll talk
Mhm.
about later that like we're gonna see familiar faces or a familiar face. So like who's that
Yeah.
familiar face?
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just excited that we have some of our favorite feds back. I
Yeah.
truly was not expecting it. When I saw Garza, I was like, okay, cool, we'll at least get him and probably just like some other random agents that we've never met. Like that's how it'll
Hmm.
work
Yeah, I thought
sometimes.
it was just like leadership or whatever.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
have Brenton back. Oh my God, that's gonna single-handedly get me through the rest of this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and we see Lucy still undercover, and like she's jumping in between different truck beds as trucks are
Hmm.
moving, which
Yeah. And I saw Melissa had replied to a fan or something, I think on Instagram, that like she did the stunt and her stunt double did the stunt. So like both
Mhm.
of them like were
Yeah,
doing those
yeah.
movements. So that's really cool. Can't wait to
I
see
don't.
that.
The promo is so fast paced because it looks like Tim is like hanging out the window of a truck. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what
Hmm.
is going on with us?
Yeah.
And then we see the big bad and Monica issues are coming to a head, which I'm honestly confused as to who's the big bad. Like, is it Blair? Is it Monica? Is it Oscar? Like, who the heck knows? I mean, it could be anyone at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
And Blair's unhinged. I mean, as
Hmm.
she should be. Like, literally, her life is at risk.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I just we need to know how Blair and Monica are connected and the conspiracy, like how they found each other.
Yeah,
That's what
like
I need to know.
yeah, origin story, and then also how the like guy that's mentioned at the end, very end of the episode, is
Yes.
like if he's the I don't know, big bad. I don't know what,
Yeah.
because like Eric had said, I just keep going back to that one interview that Eric did where he was, saying how it's not going to unfold in the way people think.
Yeah.
So like that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I also need to know where this Pearson, Detective Pearson comes in
mhm.
because he had me all kinds of confused.
Oh yeah, same.
We'll break it down more, but
Mhm.
take us through the next piece of news.
Yeah, so the next piece of news was that, we had upfronts this week and the rookie cast, the majority of them anyway, were there. Nathan was there, Melissa and Eric, Sean and Alyssa, Makia and Lisette were all there.
They look
And
so good.
right, there were so many pictures, my goodness,
Yeah, you
between
killed it by sharing all the pictures.
oh, thanks. I mean, it was like I mean, listen, fan accounts though are like
Mhm.
on it, like, I mean, mere seconds after they're
Yeah,
posted. So literally bravo to them because then I wouldn't even think to
yeah,
go and check the press site or anywhere else for them. But yeah, so there are a lot of photos from it, lots of little videos that came from it too, and even a couple interviews that, news people or sorry, press people did for the news. And so that's really cool. And even, I mean, just today they did the like one word to describe the finale and had the cast, say their one words, minus Alyssa. Alyssa couldn't come up with
yeah.
one.
Yeah, I just saw that and she was speechless and someone was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, that scares me." I was like, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that."
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I mean, I mean, yeah, there were lots of little things, and people were kind of posting them as they happened. And even like one, we got the group photo that dropped like in the middle of everyone live tweeting. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna retweet this because I don't have time to like go and grab it and see if there's any
Yeah.
other ones.
Oh my
Because
God, the
before it
group
was just
photo though.
that was so good. Yeah, and then Melissa posted like
Yeah.
just the ladies
Mhm.
photo and everything. And then like more recaps came out. Like Eric and Sean did theirs on like their Instagram stories or whatever.
Yeah.
And then um
Makia
Melissa
and
and
Alyssa
Makia
like
and
did
Alyssa.
full
Yeah.
vlogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lisette was a whole mood during it.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
I mean, just everything. Her like taking the pictures of like Malaric doing
Yeah.
their interview and people like memed it, like,
Yeah.
how we
When
feel with Chenford or whatever.
yeah, when Lisette seeing that and just like posting that to her Instagram
Yeah.
story, just being like, haha, like she gets it.
Hmm.
So I thought that was funny.
Well, even like her sitting like in the chairs and she's got like her
Mhm.
coffee or something. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, please be cuter. Like, oh my God, she's
Yeah.
adorable. I love her.
Yeah. It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, TV Line did an interview with Makia, like a video one. And Makia said she loves working with her on-set bestie Alyssa, and they're like in the same in a similar place in their lives, and it's infused in the characters. And I mean, it's not like totally substantial. Like we already know that they're besties. I mean, look at their mom moment videos. But
Mhm.
like I just loved that she said that and like
Yeah.
added that in there.
Mhm.
It was like this entire cast is just all best friends.
Yeah.
I love to see it.
Mhm.
And I love how their energy offset, and like when they're not filming translates into the show.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
she had also said that going into the finale, it's going to be very intense with a lot of big action and a lot of explosions, and we may see a familiar face, which I don't know. After watching, I'm like, Oscar? I I don't know who else would be the familiar face. There
Yeah.
could be a couple. And it's one of the biggest season finales that they've had, apparently.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make me nervous at all. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through the Alexi and Nathan TV line interview?
Yeah, well, because then that didn't help matters either. I mean, like,
Yeah.
listen, bravo to Alexi though for, like doing the, like press circuit and everything.
Mhm.
Um, and he had said, that we should be extremely worried about Blair in this part two of the finale because Monica is an extremely dangerous person. And they had asked what, do you think makes Monica such a great villain? And Nathan had said, her coloring and her sharpness, basically says villain, and she's, very like put together, but she's not entirely in control. And so you're feeling worried because you feel like she's the smartest person in the room, which is totally true. Because like
Mhm.
I think I tweeted something similar of like, for how like, calm and collected she seems, like there's a little bit of that desperation in
Yeah.
there too. So yeah, and then I thought it was good that they were asked if they were gonna check in with Bailey one more time before the end of the season. And Alexi said that yes, she is in the finale. And Nathan had said, it's something that he enjoys, like about Balin's storyline of trying to start a family, that the show is doing that and that they're experiencing it together,
Yeah.
like John and Bailey as a couple. Um, yeah, and then they also asked, will Tim come off the bench in time for the finale since he was put on admin leave in this episode? And Alexi said that yes, Tim will come off the bench for the finale, and there will be some obstacles uh, to get there. And
Yeah.
then I think everyone quoted this one that Alexi said, there will be great hope, and then a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I think
People have,
Emily.
oh,
Oh
what?
no, go ahead. I was gonna say I think Emily from Rookie Rewatch had like replied to us and said that like all of the season finales have basically been cliffhangers.
Yeah.
And then season two was the only other one to be a two-part season finale, which I had
Oh,
forgotten because it was so long ago.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, and people have like suspected or found out. I don't know because I can't totally find the credit, but apparently Steve Casey, Jenna's husband or partner,
mm.
is in the season finale.
Oh, I think someone had said that it was on like IMDb.
Yeah, but I can't find it on his IMDb.
So,
And I
I
can't
don't
find it
know.
on the rookies like episode IMDb page. So who
Yeah, I
knows?
don't know. I
I don't
mean,
know.
that would definitely be interesting because I don't really know, like, why throw that curveball in?
Right.
No, like of all things.
Like I think the episode's gonna be action packed enough. We don't need to bring Jason back or whatever his name
Yeah.
was. Yeah, Jason.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I like Bailey, but
Hmm.
I almost don't even need her in the season finale unless she has something to do with the case overall, like the storylines overall, because I
Yeah.
don't need like an extra storyline thrown in there,
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
you know?
Guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and we're recording this Thursday, so it'll
Mhm.
drop Friday. I mean, like we've only got a couple more days until the season finale
Mhm.
at this point, which is insane. I don't
Yeah,
want it to be over.
I know.
Especially because we found out TV line shared, and this came out during upfronts,
Yeah.
which usually happens anyway, but ABC's fall schedule was announced, and the rookie won't be back until January 2025.
Mhm.
And there will be 18 episodes though consecutively. So like no breaks,
Mhm.
which will be nice, but also like Emily was saying last night from the rewatch account too, she was like, you know, as much as the no breaks are a good thing, like we almost need breaks to like catch our breath and like
Yeah, I don't know
kind
how
of
we're gonna
live our
do.
lives. And I'm
We're
just
gonna
like,
be
yeah.
we're gonna be overly caffeinated, sleep deprived,
Uh-huh.
semi-ridiculous
Yeah. Yeah.
in January 2025.
Oh, if you think I'm on Hinge now, just you wait because
Yeah,
yeah.
we're gonna be a lot.
Which I don't know. At first I was a little bummed that they won't be back in September, but now I'm just kind of like, that's okay. Like if we're
I mean,
gonna
like,
get no breaks. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, because we survived the strike. I mean, I know. I mean, I get it. Yeah, you want
Yeah,
it back, but it's like we'll get all the, behind the scenes content then in the
right.
fall, when they
Yeah,
possibly, will start
yeah.
filming and,
And at least we know that they're coming back and that
right.
they've got 18 episodes. And like we don't like I think last year going into it, we like didn't know if they were going to be picked up. I know the
Right.
rookie feds we were waiting a while, but I
Yeah.
think the rookie might have came like a few weeks into the strike or maybe like a week
Yeah,
before
that
the strike had happened.
yeah. So like we knew they were gonna get picked up, but it was just a matter of like when it was actually gonna like,
Yeah.
come back, and then that
Yeah.
didn't,
So like at
happen for
least
a
we know
while.
that it will be back in January. Like,
Mhm.
whereas this time it was kind of like, okay, well, if they don't end the strike by like, October, when is that going to put
Yeah.
us, receiving new episodes? So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's good to know, but
Yeah.
we have to plan our podcast schedule, which could very well be like it was over the summer, just kind of like we're taking like longer breaks. Um,
Yeah.
but we also aren't trying to hit 100 episodes now to match with their 100. So
Yeah.
who knows what we'll do?
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be kind of a busy summer. So yeah,
Hmm.
we'll see. But do you want to take us through the TV Insider article?
Yeah, so Melissa and Eric did an interview, and Eric had said that, well, this was like, regarding Chenford and everything and kind of where they might be in this part two of the finale. And Eric had said that they're there for each other in more ways than one, and it's a great reflection of how much they still really care about each other, even after everything that they've gone through. And Melissa said that it's going to be exciting to see them evolve and grow and hopefully be better individuals. Um, and, like maybe they'll come together and, but they'll be better for it. And, um, Eric joked that Lucy's thrilled about Tim's decision and he thinks that it could be good for their relationship down the line. Because they're both going through a lot and they're trying to process it, and Tim's finally trying to kind of follow through on Lucy's advice and get some help, and so they can maybe come out on the other side of this a lot stronger.
Yeah.
And Melissa had also said that she thinks having all of, I just love how like all of the big bads. She
Yeah.
said having all of the big bads kind of in the same vicinity is going to be tricky for Lucy to balance. And since she's had a couple of close calls with Monica, um, she, thinks that she'll continue to evade her quite swiftly, and we'll get to see a different side of what going undercover can be for
Mhm.
Lucy. And, Tim's gonna be the worried ex-boyfriend, I guess,
Yeah.
in terms of, the situation that Lucy's in. But he's, obviously trying to kind of stay in his lane. And in a way, they kind of end up coming back together, I guess, Eric said in the finale in a very protective way. So hopefully that's a positive thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I
I'm,
mean, lots of coming together, and like
yeah.
togetherness was a theme in their interviews. So I'm hoping that
Hmm.
will be reflected in the Chenford of it all.
Well, and like he's not thrilled about the situation she's in. And all that we know so far is that she's undercover.
Mhm.
And we know from previous storylines that he's not necessarily a huge fan of it.
Mhm.
So it will be interesting to see how he deals with it. And knowing that like he's not her boyfriend at this point, he's not her
Yeah.
partner, like
Right.
he's almost just kind of an innocent bystander
Yeah, he's so
at this
far
point.
removed
Yeah,
from it. Yeah.
yeah. But I don't know. We shall see. It's gonna be interesting.
Mhm.
I'm excited for next week and also slightly scared. So
Mhm.
yeah. But with that, we'll jump right into the episode. So everything just kind of meshed into one. So instead of having like all these different like or storylines and everything in the outline, we just kind of put it all into one. So we open the episode right off where we left from, right where we left off from. I already can't speak. And Gray's giving the rundown from Tim. And Tim tells Gray that Mad Dog was talking about Blair London, and he didn't explicitly say her name, but like he implied to her. And Gray tells him that he has to be clear on before making those accusations. And then Detective Pearson walks up, and Gray's already over him. You can tell by his facial expressions. He's like, I'm not doing this. And Pearson says he's not trying to jam up Tim, but it seems like it. And also, why are you saying that if you're not trying to jam him up? Like, weird. And he's like, I'm trying to handle it correctly. There's a lot of eyes on this. Like, we just have to like play by the rules here. And Gray says Tim will be cooperative with us, but Tim asks if the line of questioning will lead to discipline. And Pearson's like, I can't rule it out, but that's not where my head's at unless it should be. I already don't like this guy. Like he just no, no, no. So then Gray reminds Pearson that Tim's required to have a union rep and an attorney present at questioning. So Pearson seems annoyed that they want to play it that way. And he's like, that's fine. Well, if that's procedure, then that's how it should be played. Like, I don't know why he's annoyed with it. Already seems shady to me.
Yeah.
So then he tells them that he'll meet them back at the district. And he's like, but first, did Mad Dog ever touch you? Do I have to like swipe you for DNA? And as Pearson like walks away, Gray's like, I'll watch my back with him because if he thinks he can make a career move by climbing over you, he will. So that's where we leave off. And
Gray saying all of that with the fedora, mind you.
Yes.
Style
And it's
choice.
like,
Loved it.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't know how late it was at night, but like clearly they all went home, changed, like whatever, got into like their nighttime routine, and like then this happened. So who knows how late it is. But it's moving day then for Selena, which yay. Lucina roommate era is upon us, and we will see it in 2025. And we see the movers bringing in her stuff, and she's like, I probably should have gotten rid of some things, but Lucy's like, we can go through it after a shift. And if anything, we'll put some things in my basement locker. I love these best friends. If we have Harpez, we need Lucina. Like it's just I don't even make the rules at this point. Like that's how it has to be.
Yep.
So then Nolan stops by with some coffee and pastries. And people pointed out that Selena's coffee cup said John on it.
No, it literally did. He handed her his coffee, and I was like, was that
was his?
Yeah, it was his.
I thought, like, when you get a coffee from Starbucks or whatever, like, they put your name on it, and if you do a group order, it's just that one person's name.
Oh, is it? I don't know, because I didn't see the rest. Like, the rest of them didn't look like they were labeled, but I don't know. I wasn't paying that close of attention. I just happened to see that hers said John, and I was really confused.
Yeah. Well, then people were like, oh, Lucy was like looking at hers, or he was like looking at Lucy's and kind of confused. I don't know, but I was like, I mean, I just figured it was like a group order thing. So, and he's stopping by for support and wanted to make sure Selena wouldn't be late for work because it would be a poor reflection on him, and his performance evaluation is coming up. So he's worried about this now.
Yeah,
where's this been the rest of season 6? I don't know. I don't know. But he also wanted to check in on Lucy, and she like starts rambling, and she's like, I'm good. Like there's a lot of change, but change is good. And I'm like, girl, you're not fine. You're not, because you wouldn't rant like that. But also that's another mood, because when you're like
relatable,
you just start doing that. So then Lucy receives a call from Angela. She seems like kind of surprised by it. And I'm like, I mean, I probably would be too. I don't think they're just like calling each other up just to chat all the time. And so Angela tells Lucy what happened with Tim last night, reassures her that he's okay. Lucy reacts and gets John and Selena's attention because they're like over having their own conversation. And Angela's like, we won't really be able to talk to him, but she thought she'd let Lucy know despite everything. And Angela's like, I'll let you know if I hear anything else too. So Lucy gets off the phone, tells John and Selena what happened. And then John, like, on cue, basically gets a call from Tim. And he's like, I need my union rep. And John's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Okay. I mean, John, like, you're the union rep. You should have already been at the station. Like, I don't know. So Lucy asks how he sounded, and John's like, he sounded tight. I don't know what that
I know,
meant.
I still
Okay.
don't know what that means. I was just like, maybe just like, maybe meant to say tense. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
that could be another word for
Or
tense.
like stressed.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was just kind of like a weird word choice. And I was like, okay,
Yeah, like I thought he was trying to be cool or something, and I'm like, John, that's not the time to like just say random stuff.
yeah. And
I don't
also,
know.
like, I don't know. I don't think you're cool all the time, but okay. Well, and then I tweeted from the Shop Talk account last night, before you took over. And I was like, John, you're working overtime, buddy. Like, you're working overtime this episode
For sure. No,
as
he
union
is.
rep and patrol officer.
Yeah, kind of.
So then we see Monica, and she's with Charlie, who I didn't forget who she was, but I forgot the person's name.
Mhm.
And it was Lopez's private security from last season.
Yeah,
Monica hired her for extra security.
yeah.
As she lives a busy life and she's not going to live it in fear, was her words. So she needs Charlie to keep her safe while she does her thing. And Charlie asks who she should coordinate with at the LAPD, basically, like, who's investigating the case on her. And Monica's like, forget about them. I have zero confidence in them, and they don't have my best interest in mind. Okay. So Charlie, like, feels comfy in that. Not. She's like, okay, this is weird. And she says it'll end up making my job harder, but that's a me problem. And so then Charlie and her coworker are gonna do a sweep for bugs and start surveying the area. And Charlie says she'll figure out the scheduling too. So we see Monica enter her office and go right for the desk, pulling a folder out of the drawer, and a phone ringing in the secret compartment. And I don't know why, but I was like, didn't Elijah have one of these or something? Why do I feel like we've seen a desk with a secret compartment before?
Oh goodness, does he? I
I
don't know.
remember. Or am I just making that up? Because I very well could be.
I don't know. The only office I ever remember was like, we got to finally see Wesley's office before he moved.
Yeah.
And Elijah would go there occasionally. I don't know, but it does definitely it adds to the villainous uh qualities about
Yeah.
Monica to have secret compartments for things.
Yeah. I don't know if there was ever a secret compartment in another person's desk in the Rookie, please let us know because no, I know, wasn't it Sarah Shahi's character Jessica because she was in the FBI and John like
FBI.
questioned it or something?
Oh, maybe. That was
I
so
I
long
feel like
ago.
I'm remembering this.
Oh, that's so long ago. My goodness.
I don't know. If someone remembers, please tell us because I feel like it's been in an episode or two of The Rookie. I don't know. It seemed weird and then it like rang a bell in my mind. And so it's the phone call is Blair asking if she's seen the news. And Monica tells her it's one less thread to tie up. Wow, okay. So much compassion for that.
Hmm.
Um, but Blair's pissed and tells her about Tim being there with Mad Dog. And Monica reminds Blair that I guess Mad Dog doesn't know about them. He only knows about Blair. And Monica suspects that Blair could have told him about her too, but Blair reassures her that she's never told Mad Dog where that information he was giving was going. But she is exposed. Okay, so many questions here. One, how did these two link up? Two, what information was Mad Dog giving Blair? I guess like the failed crime scenes. I don't know. And why was she targeting Mad Dog of all the cops? Like, I don't know. I have so many questions. So Blair's still on the fact that Monica told her she'd be protected, which Monica reassures her that she will be, but she has problems of her own right now. And she's like, I still don't know who tried to kill me. And Nyla and Harper are gonna try to pin it on me. Or Nyla and Harper. Nyla and Angela are gonna try to pin it on me. So
Mhm.
Monica tells Blair to get to work and jack up the cops so they have under their thumb. She's like, I do not have time for you. Like, figure it out. Do
Yeah.
whatever you need to do. I don't have time to deal with you.
Yeah, and it's like, gee, Monica, you wonder why someone wants to kill you.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. And so Blair's like, I can do that, but I need to hear that everything will work out. And Monica's like, yep, it will. Hold it together. Bye. And I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
would definitely be turning on Monica at that point. I don't know. So Blair like immediately called someone. I assumed it was Tim, and then we saw later that it was not. And she seems annoyed. So then we go over to Gray and he's talking to Harpez. Yes, I'm calling him that now. About Monica. And he's like, I don't have to be convinced that she did something. Like the writing's on the wall here. She did something. We just have to prove it. And he asks if there's any progress on her other case. And he says the one where she's the victim, not the suspect, in like a snarky tone. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's how you have to differentiate it, you know? And Monica, Nyla and Angela don't know who tried to kill her, and they don't even know if it was a hit attempt or just a home invasion. And Angela's like, "No, I'm pretty certain it was a hit attempt because Monica wouldn't kill the guy if it was a simple robbery gone wrong." Like Angela has Monica profiled
Yeah.
pretty much.
Mhm.
And so they tell Gray that this guy is not in any database, so it's hard to establish motive. But when they figure out who attacked Monica, it'll help them find out like the motive for murder.
Yeah.
So just before they leave, Angela asks Gray how Tim's doing, and Gray's like, he's being Tim about it. Like, what else do you expect? Um, so then like we cut over to Tim in the interrogation room, which I feel like is just kind of a ironic spot. But I mean, it makes sense. Like they are asking him questions. And Nolan enters, Tim gets up, gets Nolan up to speed, and we find out a little bit more about Pearson. Apparently, he's not the best, but also not the worst. So everyone, again, we're assuming everyone knows about him. Um, why haven't we met him before? Like the way that he like strolled in and he just seemed to know everything about what was going on in this station. I was
Yeah.
like, do you work here? And we just haven't met you yet? Or like, are you just really in tune with what's going on here?
I mean, I
Like,
feel like there's more of a connection to like Blair than they're saying yet. So then
there
I
has
feel
to be.
like it
There has to be. And my
something else.
Delulu mind is going through a lot right now, thinking about them. Um, I actually came up with another theory before we started recording, and I was like, that could be something. It's not fully flushed out yet, but so then Tim's sure that Pearson's gonna try to hang this around his neck. I mean, it's kind of like dead giveaway that he would. And so the department does need a scapegoat after everything that happened with Mad Dog. Tim tells Nolan that at best he'll be sidelined, and that's why he needs Nolan to take over the investigation. I mean, I like that he's trusting Nolan. I don't know who else, like obviously Angela and Nyla are pretty busy, so
Mhm. Yeah.
um and Nolan's confused and he's like, as he should be, because I would be too. And it's an investigation into someone, not what. And so Tim believes that Blair has leverage on Mad Dog, and that's why he betrayed the Metro op, thus why he jumped. Um, and so Pearson then enters Blair's office because that's who she was calling. And he tells her that he can't stay. He has a case. And she's like, I know, I'm aware of it. And that's why you need to scrub Mad Dog's apartment to make sure there's nothing incriminating about me in there. Again, he enters as if like he knows everything that's going on. I'm like, you know more than you're letting on. Also, him and Blair just seem very connected. And I'm like, this is where my mind was going before we started recording. I was like, What if we find out in the part 2 finale that like they're hooking up or something and like she's told him all of this?
Oh God.
I
I
just
don't
like
know.
that would be a big plot twist. I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah. Listen, I was just still stuck on the fact that it was like so funny because like the actor's name is Daniel and then you have Danielle Campbell. I just thought that was so
Yes.
funny.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm still stuck on. But I mean, yeah, because I know other people were floating the theory around of, that they're some like, they're personally involved,
Mhm.
as well as being professionally intertwined. So I don't know. No
Yeah.
idea.
So, she tells him that it doesn't matter, but he needs to make sure that Mad Dog doesn't say her name before he jumped. Um, and so then Pearson tells her that Tim lawyered up. So it could mean that he knows something and he doesn't know who to trust. And Blair's like, well, we need to isolate and neutralize him because if Tim gives Blair up, the recordings from Pearson sessions with Blair go straight to IA.
Yeah.
Okay, this dude is like dirty for some reason. And also the recording sessions. So she was recording everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was trying to get information to.
Which like means he was a patient, which then would mean like she really couldn't hook up with him because that's, like an ethics violation
Yes, but clearly she
altogether.
wasn't caring about ethics.
That's true. Yeah,
So
I don't know.
like
This is just nuts.
ethics went right out the door for her.
I
She
don't
did
know.
not care. She was like, ethics what? No. No.
Just
Um,
irony.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe they were closer. Maybe he's in on all of this with Monica. Like I don't know. But I need to know more. Like I feel like he could be the big bad and we're just now meeting him. I don't know. I don't know. But so yeah, then that led to my question of were they hooking up? Like just because he's not even afraid to share the case information with her. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of sus, but so we see him back with Gray, and he shares that witnesses heard people arguing on the roof, and Mad Dog showed no precursor signs to suicide, and Tim was forced out of Metro, enough to make him jealous and give him motive. And so Pearson motions for Blair to come in because she's sitting right out there, just like waiting to just like tattle. And she tells Gray what she told Pearson. She's like, I really don't want to. And he's like, you are in an ethical position, ethical and legal position. You have to share anything that could be seen as dangerous. So she goes into her sessions with Tim and how he had a lot of anger issues and a lot of resentment about leaving Metro. And she tells Gray, she's acting as if Gray doesn't know this man and hasn't worked with him for years. Like, okay. And she tells Gray that she also witnessed a heightened interaction between Tim and Mad Dog in the parking garage the day before. And she thinks if she wasn't there, it would have escalated. Okay, come on, be serious right now.
I mean, all of this was just like hyperbolic bullshit.
Yeah. And like, yeah, I'm sure that it wouldn't have escalated if you weren't there. Like you're gonna stop them fighting. I don't know. And also like they're cops. Like I feel like they have a little professionalism with them. I don't know. I was just like, Blair, you don't need to be making up lies, girl. Like you're already in it too deep. Just
Mhm.
say that and move on. And so then Pearson speaks up and he's like, Bradford needs to be put on admin leave immediately pending further investigation. And Gray's like, he has important cases. We can't do that. And Pearson's like, he's dangerous. And you've always looked the other way. Just like when he was under IA investigation last month and drummed down a Metro. And Gray welcomed him back like nothing had happened. Yeah, I mean, I could see why Pearson's like annoyed with that. I feel like Pearson just has it out for Tim. Like, what did Tim do to Pearson that like made him pissed off with him? I don't know. I do get why they're questioning him though with all the Mad Dog stuff. Um, so then Pearson threatens Gray facing disciplinary actions if he keeps giving Tim special treatment. Literally, what does this man have against these police officers?
But also, like, what could he do? He's just a detective, right? Like,
Right.
I didn't hear any special rank because even like when my mom had come out, like, was just passing through, she was like, why is this guy threatening him? Like, isn't Gray a sergeant? I'm like, yeah, he is. I don't know what this guy's thinking, like, acting like he owns
Yeah.
the place. Like, no,
Yeah.
sir, you do not.
So Yeah, because even then, Pearson and Gray walk into the interrogation room where Tim and Nolan are. And Gray's staying for Tim's interview. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. Pearson's been like, I've been on this case for 3 hours. You're acting like you have authority over Gray and Tim. Like
Yeah.
you don't. You've been on this case for 3 hours. Like, step back, bro. Step back. And he's like, I'm already deeply troubled by what I've discovered. Oh my God. We're just being dramatic now. I
Mhm.
mean, come on. And so he tells Tim he wants to hear what he has to say, but no matter the answers, he's on leave effective immediately. Eric's acting in this entire episode, but like in this scene, just the look up to him, and then he just kind of like looks away and he just is like has to deal with it. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
So good. So Nyla then like walks up to Angela's desk and she's like, did you hear Tim's on an admin leave? And Angela didn't know. But apparently Nyla found out from Smitty, which kind of tracks at this point. I don't know.
Well, because if he was outside the therapy office for,
True.
all
Yeah.
all damn day and night,
Yeah.
like he would have heard Pearson and Blair talking eventually.
That's true.
Or at
Yeah.
least seen Pearson come in. I don't know. Or maybe he's heard, I don't know how he heard about it. Maybe he's just
Yeah.
wandering around and like just happened to hear. I don't know. But
I feel like Smitty is more smart though than like everyone
Yeah,
gives him credit for.
that's true. A little bit. I mean, he did
Yeah.
good work in this episode. So
Yeah. I mean, not much, but he did good work. So
yeah.
Angela calls Wesley, who's with Baby Jack and Sydney, and she's like, "Are you filing charges against him? You can't do that. He's family." And Wesley will have to give her a heads up. And Wesley's like, "It would like this. I would not give you heads up. That would be the last thing I would do to that's the last thing I would do to compromise the case with any hint of impropriety." And so she's like, I'm standing by Tim, and Wesley agrees, and he's like, yeah, I know. And he's like, I haven't even gotten caught up on everything. Let's talk later. So then there's like this random knock at Lopez's door, and it's this guy looking for Sydney. And he sees Sydney, tells her that her boss is looking for her, and she can't be ignoring his calls. And Wesley's like, I'm her boss. Wesley in this entire scene, okay, I was like, all right.
He like went from like, because when he said like, I'm her boss, like he just kind of like said
Yeah,
it with a little bit of like a lilt to his voice, and then he got
yeah,
real serious real fast. And I was
yeah.
like,
His demeanor
okay,
changed.
Sean, go off. Like you go.
And I also saw someone pointing out the camera angles and like the shifts during this
Mm-hmm.
scene and like how the angles were making Sean look bigger and then this other guy looks smaller. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't catch it on the first watch, but the second watch, I was like, I see it. And that is
Mm-hmm.
really cool.
Yeah.
So, um, Sydney's old boss wants her back. Wesley's like, she's not going anywhere. Wesley pulls out the lawyer and cop talk tone, and this guy ends up leaving and tells her that the boss isn't going to like this. And as soon as she leaves, Wesley's like, what the hell was that? Like, you need to tell us everything. So we like don't even see any more with Wesley and Sydney, but we see Angela and Nyla questioning Sydney about what happened. Um, and I don't know, I just thought it was kind of funny how it was in the interrogation room as if she was a suspect or like a criminal,
Mm-hmm.
and not just like in an office or something. Um, so Angela and Nyla are questioning Sydney, and she reiterates that she can't say anything because of her NDA. But at this point, like it doesn't even matter, just tell them. And so Nyla explains how it looks to them. Like her last employer was a criminal. She left working for him, sought out a job working for two cops where she might be in contact with their computers and like might hear conversations. And she's like, that's not why I took the job. Um, and she's like, I didn't even know who he was when she didn't even know who he was when she took the other job. And, she's like, I don't even really know who he is still. See, I thought it was like when they were saying that, I thought, okay, maybe she took this job because she felt like they could protect her. Like it wasn't necessarily she wanted information on him. She
No,
wanted like
maybe.
protection.
Yeah.
So all she does know is that he does something in finance. I mean, like far from it, but all right.
Right.
And she knows his name is Christian Batista.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I stuck it out even like after I realized he was a bad guy because the kids were sweet and I didn't want to abandon them. Um, and so this guy happens to be a professional money launderer. And apparently half of the criminal organizations in the city use his services. And he's always been one step ahead ever since he moved into the number one position 2 years ago. So this guy is like big bad, big bad.
Yeah. Well, and it cracked me up though because she was like, she knew that he had a bodyguard or whatever named Headshot, and I was like,
Yeah.
you didn't think that was weird? She's like, well, I'm from Ohio, so I'm like, don't throw
Yeah.
Ohio under the bus. Like, damn, come on.
I
Like,
didn't even think about that.
just say you're naive and go on, which I mean, she did, but I was just like, okay, that's fine. Continue.
Yeah. Yeah, why did it have to be Ohio? I don't know. That's
I'm
so
telling
funny.
you, every TV show, people get out of Ohio or they're from Ohio and they leave for some reason. It's just always get out. No one ever goes there. Everyone wants to leave, I swear.
Oh my gosh. Oh my
Sorry, I'm
God.
done.
This is going to be a really interesting podcast episode. I'm already saying it right now. It will be. It will be. And in the best way possible because it's kind of late. So,
Mhm.
yeah, we'll see. Um, so Angela's asking if Sydney would be willing to work for him again as a spy for them, basically. And Sydney's like, no way, I'm not going back. And Nyla reassures her that she wouldn't have to do anything dangerous. Just pay attention to who comes and goes and see what she like overhears. If Nyla had to say that, like you wouldn't be doing anything dangerous, I would still be like, no, I'm the fact that you had to say that, and he's already creepy and cruel, like, no, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
So it turns out she's gonna have to sell him on a new nanny. And I don't know. At first I was like, it'll be tomorrow, right? Like I was literally looking for a way for
Oh,
them to bring
really?
Tamara back in.
Well,
And I
I
was
thought because
like,
I was like, oh, will Nyla go? And I'm like, no, Nyla can't go. She's the one investigating the damn thing. Like, no, she can't go.
yeah. So we then see Tim waiting for the elevator. He's just like sad and broody and like sulky this entire episode.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I did not like it, but also I low-key loved it because I was like, we don't see this side of him a lot.
Mhm.
So Lucy walks by as he's going in, and she decides to follow him in, stopping the elevator. And she's like, I'm still mad at you. But they hug, and she asks him if he's okay. And he's like, I am now. Cue my tears.
Right.
Cue my tears.
Shortest little scene ever, and they just knocked it
Hmm.
out of the park.
Yeah. Yep. But then they part and open the elevator, and who's waiting for them? Nyla and Angela. And I was like, I love this. I love
Yeah.
this. And so they conveniently need Lucy on the case right then and there. So as Nyla and Lucy walk away, Angela tells Tim, say the word and I'll have you on a plane to a non-extradition country, which is like so similar to the I'm your best friend. And he's like, I don't have best friends. And she's like, yeah, you do. Or like, I'll
Yeah.
live off my husband's trust fund. And I'm like, I love her and her one-liners.
Right.
Like her and her sassy quips. I love them. So he's like, it's not going to come to that. And there's no evidence of wrongdoing. And she starts to tell him she can do anything to help, like let her know. And he cuts her off. He appreciates it. And he's like, you had my back on the last thing. I have different forces into play this time. And she's like, difference, not me, though. No, it's not. And we need these besties more.
Yeah. Well, when he
We
said
need them
we have
more.
different forces into play, did he mean Nolan? Like you're
Yeah.
telling me he's counting on Nolan? Like when I wanted Roland back for this season, that's not what I meant.
It was your facial expression and like just like attitude kind of when you said that. I was like,
I
yeah, that's
can't.
exactly what he meant. And I thought that exact same thing when I watched it the second time. I was like, his different forces are Nolan. Like
Right.
Nolan. To take down Blair London. I don't know. I mean,
Oh.
is Smitty a better option at this point? I don't know. I don't know. Nolan, he's smart. You got to give him credit where it's due, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we need more Timgela. We need them. I'm just saying that. We need them. So we go back to Nolan, Gray, and Pearson. He's closing up the file, talking about Tim being cagey. And Gray's like, well, your questioning was aggressive, and Tim was being measured. And as he walks out, Nolan tells Gray about what Tim asked him to look into, and Gray's like, I don't even want to hear it. Nolan asked Nolan asks to sit out of patrol and conduct an investigation, and Gray's like, no. Instead, you and Selena are going to have a professional development day. And he's granting that request, and he tells them not to come back until they have something concrete because they don't know who they can trust. When I first watched that, I was like, a professional development day? Do they have like actual work that they need to do? Like, I legit thought it was real.
Oh, that's
And
great.
then when Selena was like, what is that? And no one's like, that's BS. I was like, no, I thought that was real. Like, I wasn't thinking.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, they have actual work they need to do. Like, they could be doing so much more than like taking a professional development day, probably doing like learning courses or something. Like, that's literally what I thought it was going to be. And then I took another second. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And so Gray questioned, and Gray said, if I'm questioned, I'll be compelled to answer. So the less I know, the better, which I feel like that's another mood. Like, don't tell me more than I need to know.
Mhm.
So Gray reminds Nolan that he's responsible for Selena and to not compromise her career before it starts. Well, I feel like it's a little too late in her rookie career for that, dude. Like, he's compromised her a couple of times. She's also done the same to him, but like, I feel like it's a little too late for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this was a big case, and so that's why I could see him saying that because it's not like you're just going after like a criminal. You're going after a like department psychiatrist who has been entrusted to help these officers. Like, this is a big case. And so Nolan finds Selena, takes her to the shop to talk in private. I mean, I feel like an office, like a room would have been more private,
Mhm.
but they needed like out of the station. And he tells her about the professional development day. And as soon as she asks, he's like, it's BS. And he tells her that he needs to look into something on the down low. And it's her choice if she wants to ride along or not. She doesn't have to help him. It'll be a sticky situation. And he understands if she wants to sit this one out. But he can't tell her what's going on. So she has to decide first. And she's like, I'm in. And he tells her that Tim believes Dr. London blackmailed Mad Dog, and that's why he betrayed the Metro op. And Selena's not convinced. She's like, it's Blair. Aaron raves about her. And Nolan's like, Tim's pretty convinced. And if she blackmailed one cop, there could be more. So Selena questions if Aaron could be involved in this, and Nolan doesn't think so, but they can't rule him out
Yeah.
because anyone Blair saw as patient could be a problem.
But I mean, like,
So
also, where was Aaron in this episode?
thank you. I thought that. I was like, after she mentioned that, I was like, yeah, where is he?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of giving sus behavior. I don't know. And so Selena starts off with the first and most obvious move, getting a list of her patients. And Nolan shuts that down. He's like, it's confidential and it's impossible to get a judge to sign off on that without clear evidence of a criminal conspiracy. Plus, it'll get eyes on them. And so Selena, in just her most naive, precious cupcake way, is like, I know who's gonna help. Smitty. And John's like, I'm sorry. Did you just say Smitty's gonna help solve our problem? And the next thing we see, Smitty's getting into the back of the shop. Very eager, very like happy-go-lucky. And he's like, what's up, homies? Like,
It
I'm like, oh,
was
Smitty.
so funny. Like, he's so not serious about anything.
No. And I need to know why he's so funny. And like literally for what. I love him though. Like, I love anytime he's on the screen.
Yeah.
And so she tells Smitty that Aaron told her he hangs out in the waiting room at the Department of Psychiatry office. And he's like, yeah, that's where I spend my breaks. Like, it's his business and totally fair. And he's like, but I do see who comes in for therapy sessions. And Nolan asks how often he's there. And Smitty's like, well, the vending machine restocks are on Monday and Thursday. And the doctor brings in cupcakes on Tuesdays. Shrinks cater inner office meetings on Wednesdays, and there's always leftovers. And John confirms his schedule. And Smitty's like, I'm also there on Fridays too, because the personnel office next door holds a mixer with pasta hors d'oeuvres. And no one's like, that's every single never mind. And I'm just like, that right there is why we love Smitty so
Mhm.
much. This man is snack oriented, and we
Right?
love that about him.
Yeah.
Like, it was so funny. I was like, they need to bring Smitty in more of season 7.
Yeah.
Even if it's solely for stuff like this. I don't need like any big cases with him. I just need him to like help where need be and
Yeah.
just to like bring the comedy side of it. So Nolan asks if he would like to take an extra long break today, and Smitty just gives a thumbs up to that. I mean, he doesn't even need to say anymore. Like, say less, man. Say
Right.
less. And so Nolan tells him that his one job is to tell them everyone who Dr. London sees. And Smitty's like, that's a long list. It's cops from all over the city. And he needs to tell John and Selena every name he can remember, plus anyone who she sees today. And he's like, this sounds like a lot of work. Why am I doing this? And Nolan's like, I can't give you details, but because duh. It's Smitty. I mean, he wouldn't hold it in. He was probably one of the first people to blab about Tim's admin leave to Nyla. Like, he's not gonna keep a secret. And Nolan tells Smitty that it's to help Tim. And Selena's like, yeah, Tim told us that you are the man for the job and the only one that we can trust. And Smitty's like, I'm on board. And I'm like,
Yeah.
the way that it doesn't even take much for this man to be like, yeah, I'm there. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he's so funny. And so Nolan points out that Blair's been talking to like after Smitty leaves, we get a classic Nolan facial expression. And he points out that Blair's been talking to cops all over the city for 6 months now. So there's no telling how many cases she could have compromised. And Selena's like, someone would have noticed by now, right? So they walk into the kitchen area and find Nell. And they tell her that her help is needed. And she's all excited. She is like, do I get to kick down a door? Like, I feel like she wants to be a cop so badly, but like doesn't necessarily want to like break into that. Like she just likes being around them and like hearing their stories.
Yeah.
So they tell her that they ask if she has noticed any uptick in failed police actions lately, like attempts to locate that came up null, like someone who was warned to target or a warrant where the disposition was Nora. And she has noticed. She thought she was imagining it, but the fail rate is up all over the city. It's pretty subtle, but most people wouldn't know this, but she did. Um, and so no one's like, I need you to pull a list of everything that's gone sideways in the last 6 months and the officers who were attached to those failed interactions. And so as she walks away, she's like, is there any chance that I can use this for my podcast? And no one's or they just kind of exchange looks and she's like, no, okay. Um, and I'm just like, Nell is us. I think you had tweeted it last night, like Nell is us.
Yeah.
So Pearson finds Angela in the bullpen and asks if she has a minute. And he knows she's close with Tim and wanted to say that none of this is personal, it's just a job. Again, why are you saying this? Like, I
Right.
think it's pretty obvious. I don't know. And I wanted Angela to be like, and why are you saying this to me? Like, she kind of was. She was like, okay, is that it? Because I have to get in there. And points to Lucy and Nyla in the briefing room. And he questions if something broke on their John Doe murder. How does he know about that? Like, honestly, this man like knows all. I mean, I don't think it's like public record. Maybe like he got the rundown of who can help them. I don't know, but it just seems like he knows a little too much. And
Yeah.
so like he just knows everything that's going on in this district. He acts like he's been here for like 6 seasons and we've just never met him. And so she asks if he's ever worked anything connected to Christian Batista, which I was like, Angela, why are you going to say that to him right now? But
Right. That's
okay.
what I was thinking. I was like, dang it. Like, was he trying to fish for information in like a
Yeah.
weird way?
Yeah.
But I
Like,
don't know, because Angela's so smart though. Like, she would have
mhm.
been on her toes a little bit more, I think.
I swear, I think this guy's the dirty cop. I don't know. So he asks, or he hasn't, but asks if she has a way in. Why is he asking if she has a way in? Like this guy, I don't know, just seems way too fishy to me. Way too fishy. And so she's like, no, it's too soon to tell. And so Nyla and Angela ask Lucy how she is with kids. And she's like, I mean, I babysat, nannied a little bit in college, and she's going to go in as the new nanny for Batista. And Sydney's willing to sing Lucy's praises, and Harpez can create fake references. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, so Nyla and Angela will be the fake references for Lucy, right?
Uh,
Like their
yeah.
aliases will be those references. And so they tell her that she should start setting up social media profiles now and establish a life. But Lucy's like, I'm already ahead of the game. She has 8 undercover identities that she regularly feeds, and it takes like 12 off-duty hours to grow. Harpez looks impressed by it, and Lucy's like, I did it because I thought I would make detective and all that work would come in handy. And I'm like, overachiever Lucy. We love her for it.
Yeah.
And none of those profiles have nanny experience, but there is one that might work. She has no criminal history, is a college graduate, a little lost in life, but on paper looks good to them. And Aaron finally stops by. At this point, we're 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, there he is.
Swear
Like,
to God, this is the only scene though.
yeah, pretty
Swear.
much.
Yeah.
And he shares that they just finished processing the license plates of cars parked in a 4-block radius around Monica's house, and all are registered to neighborhoods or to neighbors or employees of neighbors. And so they can assume that Monica's attacker didn't drive there. And Ubering to a crime scene seems not smart. So there had to have been a partner who took off when the sirens were coming. I'm kind of like lost at that point, but I'm like, okay. And also, Aaron, like, please stick around. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we see Monica walking through the station, and Angela's like, why is she here? Angela was a whole mood in that. I was like, I'm feeling the same way right now, girlfriend. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why is she there? And it turns out Charlie is with her, and Angela's confused. Monica asks how they know each other, and Charlie's like, oh, I worked for Lopez like a year ago, because she says, how's baby Jack? And Monica has learned her lesson now about doing a deeper dive into references. Wouldn't she like think that that would come up? Like, I don't know. And so Angela points out that hiring private security indicates a worry about impending danger, that which would imply Monica thinks she was attacked deliberately instead of a random victim from a burglary. So Monica keeps insisting that she's the victim and she's entitled to know her right to know about the investigation into her attack, per the victim's Bill of Rights. And they have to share the details about her case. The expressions on Nyla and Angela's faces were amazing. Like, don't mess with them. They were so done with her. But can you take it from here?
Yeah. So then we see that John and Selena are driving and they're looking over Blair's record. And it says that she has no criminal history, just a grad school DUI, and no family ties to Barrio Rosa. So if she's doing it for the money, it's kind of hard to see like why. And also, can I just say though that they used a photo of Danielle from like last week's episode?
Yeah.
Like, because she was wearing that plaid blazer, and I was like, oh, okay,
She's been
interesting.
in this show this entire season, and that's the picture that they
Yeah,
had to use.
yeah.
Not had to, but yeah.
But anyway, so they have to get more insight and talk to people who know her. There is one person that they haven't actually looked into very much yet, and that is Mad Dog. And so Selena gets all excited thinking, oh, we can do a seance, and John's just like, or we could search the apartment. Um, and Selena said that, one day he'll want to do a seance, and you know, she'll be ready when that day happens. Um, so they're on the way there. Then it cuts over. We have Angela on the phone with Wesley, and she is telling him that Monica wants to exercise her rights as a victim. And she asks him what exactly they're required to tell her, but Wesley can't even answer that because just by Angela calling him about it, Monica could assert collusion. And so I love how he was just like, okay, gotta go. Bye.
Hmm.
Love you. Bye. Like he had to throw that in there. Like best husband award. He tries. Um, and so they get off the phone and Angela and Nyla are on their own pretty much. And so they go in and Monica, well, she doesn't really ask more so than demands if they know who tried to kill her and they say no, that they don't have anything on
Yeah.
the suspect because he's not in the databases and they don't have any info on his possible, partner either. They also don't know why she was targeted and they can't say if Monica is under investigation because, as Nyla said, that is not part of the Victims' Rights Act. Um, so she's kind of, left with not much of anything, but she insists that they, notify her as soon as something else comes up.
Hmm.
Um, and then we see Lucy going on her interview with the Batista family, and um, we had seen Sydney kind of in a transition to this slight voiceover of you know, Batista Christian is kind of cruel, and apparently his wife drinks a lot to deal with that. Um, and we hear that the kids' names are Joshua and Esther, and we hear this because they're caught spying by Christian, and so he tells them to come over and apologize for spying, and they do, and then they go off to start their homework, and the interview went well enough that Lucy gets the job.
Yeah.
Um, and then we see John and Selena get to Mad Dog's apartment, and they're looking for anything that could be of use, which honestly, I didn't really understand why, because this was like literally like a 0.2 second scene of them entering the apartment and saying they're going to
Yeah.
tear it apart. And then the music starts, right? And I'm thinking the music was going to go into them actually tearing the apartment to pieces.
Yeah.
But it didn't, because then it cuts to Monica and Charlie going to visit a man named Gundo.
Hmm.
And well, Monica's going in, Charlie's waiting outside, but walks Monica up to the door. Um,
For me, I was like,
and
can Nolan and Selena even be in the apartment? Like, it's a crime scene, right? Or it's not like
yeah,
a
but
crime
then
scene, but it's like an active
Yeah, but then no
investigation.
one had said later that they got a warrant for it.
True.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I swear, like they covered all their bases, thankfully. But I mean,
Yeah.
heck, Pearson was so pissed off that really didn't even matter to him at all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so so Monica's at this man's house, and he had agreed to see her because apparently she kept his nephew out of prison at one point. And so she asked him to look into who tried to kill her, and obviously she'll pay him to do that. Um, and he's heard a lot about her. Her reputation kind of precedes her, thinking that she owns the city, but she assures him that she's not, delusional, in thinking that she runs things. She knows that, she doesn't have as much power as people think that she does. Um, and this was like a common theme too. It was kind of like Monica just like bopping around to different people, being like,
Hmm.
"Okay, can you look into this for me? Can you look into this for me?" And then they're
Yeah.
all like, "Yes, but also we've heard about you, and so
Uh-huh.
we want to make sure that we know, you
Yeah.
know, that we know what we're getting into when we
Hmm.
talk to you." So it was kind of like the theme I felt with her interactions with these various shady characters. Um, but anyway, so she you know, like she says that she'll pay. They kind of go like she walks out and then she didn't exactly get what she needed because things are not yet taken care of. Um And then we see that John and Selena strike out at Mad Dog's apartment, but John kind of has an idea. Um, and then we see him go into Blair's office. She's in the middle of a session. He interrupts Dawn's session and is like, "I'm so sorry. I'm in crisis. I need to see the doctor now." And he's like shaking his hand and everything, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, and it's okay," like just in a very Nolan way.
Yep.
And so then he confronts Blair, saying that Mad Dog didn't just give up the Metro plans to Barrio Rosa directly, that there is an intermediary, aka Blair. And when she doesn't budge, he holds up this notebook, which is empty. But Blair doesn't know that. Um, but he makes her think that there's info in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he tells her that, he's her best shot of making it out alive. And he's kind of, I guess, trying to intimidate her into talking, or at least just make her start to consider the option of coming forward and
Yeah.
maybe doing the right thing. What a concept. Um, and so that's kind of where we leave them for now. Then Nyla and Angela finally get a break because apparently TSA came through with a fingerprint match on Monica's attacker, a man named Samuel Desta, who apparently came in on a Portuguese passport and traveled with another man named Andre Guarzo. I was like, that's quite the name. Not that I should
Yeah.
really be talking, but I mean, like, that's quite the name. Um, and technically, they owe Monica a call since they found out this information about her attacker. But that call should technically come from the community liaison, who's apparently gone home for the day. So, yeah, Monica's not getting that call. So they've kind of avoided um, her for now. And then we see a very angry Pearson confront Nolan and Juarez about their search of Mad Dog's apartment, which is his scene, not theirs.
Right.
But Gray puts a stop to it, basically telling him to, like stay in his lane. Like if there's discipline, that he's the one that'll dole that out, not Pearson. Um, and so now Nolan and Selena know that Blair had called Pearson, and
Mm-hmm.
since he's in charge of Mad Dog's case, that explains why he's gunning for Tim. Um, and so John goes to work on Blair's patient list that Smitty gave Selena, and um, he basically, I guess, way I can put this is he uses his union rep status to tell her patients that she's being investigated and that, as their union rep, he wants to make sure that he, gives them this
Yeah.
information. They can, make an informed decision and all that nonsense. Um, in the hopes that this should lead to a lot of frantic phone calls by them to her, which should hopefully get Blair to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then we see Monica meeting with Oscar, of all people. Like,
Oscar is at the helm of everything. He's like
right?
been in the last couple season finales.
Yeah, just wild. So yeah, we see Monica meeting with Oscar in prison.
At this point, they should
Again,
just put Oscar on the LAPD payroll
I
because,
mean,
like, he's always
honestly,
helping in some way.
yeah. But he would just be so greedy though. So
Mm-hmm.
freaking greedy. Like
Yeah.
it would never be enough for
Yeah.
him. Um, Yeah, but again, to get info on who tried to kill her, since he's surrounded by members of criminal organizations, all of California because he's incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know, Samuel's dead, but Monica still wants to know who his partner was, and Oscar says to follow the money. Monica doesn't have access to their accounts, but Oscar tells her that, since it's dirty money, there's one person that controls pretty much all of that. And that is, again, Christian Batista. So off Monica goes to Christian's house. And of course, that's while Lucy's there nannying. Thankfully, she doesn't see Lucy. We kind of just see Monica enter the doorway as Lucy
Mm-hmm.
kind of scoots out of view.
Yeah.
Um, and then we see Angela and Nyla are on the phone trying to get the court order for the satellite radio company that had tracked because they had seen the rental car in this TSA photo or something that they were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're trying to figure that out. And oh my God, it was just like playing phone tag and
Yeah.
being put on hold and all this stuff. I was like, wow, relatable, like of being an
Yeah.
adult and having to make phone calls to places. So true. But Nyla finally has it and then tells Angela, who relays it to the people on the phone. And apparently it's,
Mm-hmm.
Judge Walter Gonzalez, the court authorization number of 122469, and the GPS tracking is via satellite in this rental car, LA 592B, as in boy. And so they're going to track down this vehicle and see if they can find Guarzo. Then we see Christian and Monica talking, and she asks him again to ask around about who tried to kill her, and he'll see what he can do. Lucy is obviously eavesdropping. But then I don't even know what I literally have written here talking toy box. It was like a
It looks like
radio. I
an
don't know.
iPad or
Oh, an
something.
iPad. I don't
Or
know what
like
it was.
the leapfrog, like, the
Yeah.
play iPad
Oh,
more
yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so toy that makes noise falls to the ground. But she manages to get out before anyone saw or suspected her. Um, and then we see Pearson just sitting in his car, logging on to the LAPD network, finding out that Lopez and Harper's not for broadcast location of Andre's rental car is at the Kings Court Motel, and calls someone, we don't see who, to have them basically put a stop to that. Um, and as well, it's Angela and Nyla, and then two other officers are with them.
The
And
one from last episode that was supposed to be watching Monica's house
oh,
or
was it?
Monica's attacker. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
Cool, cool.
still think that cop is something. Because I thought that last episode, I was like, I don't know. I just feel like she's gonna give dirty cop vibes or something.
Oh, really?
But maybe
Okay.
not. I don't
I didn't
know.
catch it because they were like just so quick, and then because then the bikers show up with the guns and like start shooting at them. Um,
She's been in 2 episodes now, and so I'm like, I mean, assuming she'll be in the finale part 2, but I'm
I mean,
like, will they
possibly.
bring her in season 7, like as another background character, or I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm like, I don't know. They're bringing her around twice though, but
Yeah.
maybe it's just me. I'm kind of
I mean,
thinking
possibly. I don't know. But
past,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. And so the other two go after the gunmen on the bikes, and Angela and Nyla investigate the hotel room. But there's no Andre to be found, although there was quite a lot of blood spatter, like on the mirror or something. Um, because Monica's got him with that Gundo guy, I think. And basically, like, Andre's like, pull it out of the trunk of this car, like, thrown on the ground. Monica, like, kneels down and is like, basically threatening to dismember him unless he tells her what she needs to know. And, yeah, it like cuts to a commercial there. Um, I swear, for Monica being a lawyer, she can be pretty gosh darn intimidating.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so they're going there. Things are happening. And Angela and Nyla are obviously very suspicious that Monica was the one that got to him first. And their suspicions are confirmed when Lucy tells them that she had stopped by Christian's house. And Nyla says that that's why Monica grabbed Andre to torture the name out of him. Um, and then we see Nolan text Smitty, who is still outside Blair's office, and Smitty texts
With a
back that,
pile of snack wrappers
oh
next to
yeah, it was
him.
so good. He's like still just eating a candy bar, chilling out.
Yeah.
Um, and Smitty texts back that three officers came in for emergency sessions today. He doesn't like name names, we just says three officers. And then, and I quote with the beach umbrella emoji. Sorry, wrong key. Floppy disk emoji. Barber pole emoji. What is wrong with this phone?
How did those are all in 3 different emoji categories?
Right.
Like,
I mean,
how are you getting the floppy disk?
yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
But it was
Smitty.
just, it was so funny. Like, older people probably relate to that don't text as often. Because even
Yeah.
John was like, listen, I'm pretty bad with my phone, but even I can do that. And like, Selena's like, uh-huh.
Hmm.
Like half buying it, half not.
Yeah.
Um, and so Blair had come out of her office, saw Smitty with the phone and confronts him, kind of grabbed the phone right out of his hand and called John, saying that they've got to talk. And I saw in my second watch, Smitty's still in the background, just taking another bite of the candy bar, like
Yeah.
watching this whole thing. I was like, good Lord.
Yeah. I saw it in my second watch and I was like, he's just there. Like he's
Yeah.
got his popcorn, but instead of popcorn, it's the candy bar. Like,
Yep.
oh my gosh. He's
Yep.
so funny.
Yeah, it was just so good. And so we then see Harpez and Gray grab Pearson and bring him into interrogation, saying how he went on the network for Guarzo, and it's because you know, he's like, well, I don't answer to you. And they're like, no, you answer to Blair London. And it's the same reason he went after Nolan and Selena for Mad Dog's apartment. Same reason he went after Tim so much
Hmm.
about the Mad Dog thing. And then we see, oh, well, no, the thing was, though, that was so great about this was that he had asked if, disciplinary actions were to follow. And Gray was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, you're placed on admin leave immediately. And like,
Hmm.
yes, disciplinary actions could,
Yeah.
occur. And then, he inquires that he might need to get his lawyer, but it was just so, I don't know what the word is, like satisfactory, I guess, to
Yeah.
just like hear them say that to him after
Yeah.
he said that to Tim.
Yeah. Well, and then I was just thinking about it, but I mean, obviously we know he's a detective in some way. But
Yeah.
like, what if he's just not? Like, what if he's just acting like he's one? And that's why he's on this like such a power trip because he has to like
Mm.
believe it himself. And then I'm like, no, he is. He
Yeah,
is.
but still though it is a little odd though that we've never actually seen
Right?
him before.
And he just
Just
like strolls
ever.
in like he knows everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But that's why he's working with Blair. But like,
Yeah.
is it just is he only working with Blair? Does he not even know about Monica?
Hmm. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Like it's so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And then we see Nolan and Blair talking on a bench. I'm assuming like outside of her office, like just because of the hidden camera, they
Yeah.
couldn't be inside there. And she reiterates she didn't want Mad Dog to die or Nash to be paralyzed, but she can't go to prison. And I'm like, I just don't, I mean, how do people not think about shit like this? You know what I mean? It's like obviously you
Yeah.
don't want to go to, but like, why do you not think about that before you do the criminal
Right.
acts? I mean, come on now.
Well, and like, okay, so she's working with Monica. What does Monica have over Blair that was
Yeah.
like, you have to do this?
Yeah. I mean,
I have a lot of questions.
I do too, especially since like if you're a freaking psychiatrist, like you got to be kidding me. You didn't think to look into, Monica's psyche and kind of
Yeah.
evaluate that as to why, this person would want you to do this and
Yeah.
just how she kind of operates. Like, I don't know. Um, anyway, so she doesn't want to go to prison. She wants immunity. And John's over here talking like a lawyer, being like, well, she'll have to tell them who she reports to. And she's like, okay, she will once she has a deal. Um, and
And she's playing this so well,
yeah,
like a well-trained criminal in a way.
yeah, a little bit, a little bit. Um, it just kind of bugged me though that John was like, yeah, sure, no, we'll get you a deal. I'm like, dude, you don't know like anything. Like
Right.
that could very well just go completely sideways.
And like as a cop, I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to promise that. Wasn't he like told in one of his first few seasons or like times as a rookie that you never promise stuff like that to
Yeah.
someone?
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's John
Um,
Nolan. He does whatever he wants. So,
yeah. And so the very last scene, which I honestly kind of thought that it was going to end there with John
hmm.
and Blair. I was not expecting the last scene. We have Monica and Oscar talking again, and she says that Eric Ramsey is the one after her. So now she finally has a name. But he's not a client. She doesn't know who he is and like why he wants her dead, but he's heavily protected apparently. His home is a fortress and she needs a way in. And that's where Oscar comes in. And Monica hands him a photo of another prisoner, someone named Kelso, who was apparently Ramsey's right-hand man before he was convicted of on drug charges. And she thinks that he'll know something. And Oscar states that she wants him to torture it out of him. And she basically kind of just like nods. And he says that he'll do it. but he wants Monica to help him break out of prison. And she agrees, saying it's a deal. And that's where the episode ends.
Yeah.
So,
Someone
yeah.
pointed out that like Elijah is what Oscar's like cellmate or across this like cell from him.
Mhm.
Because I was like, how does she know
I forgot
Oscar?
about that.
But maybe that's how.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, what if like these guys are connected to Elijah and Elijah's like turning
Well,
on
someone
her?
else like had that
Hmm.
I don't even know what it's called, like web, or not Venn diagram,
Yeah.
but like web drawn out of like who the people are, and like Elijah was on there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm kind of nervous. Only because like the season finales, we usually see one person die, and I can't figure out who that will be.
Oh, that's true, because the little not announcer, that's not the right word, narrator person for the promo was like,
Hmm.
you know, who will make it out alive, or will someone die? And I'm
And
like,
I can't,
does someone have to die though? I mean, come on now. Like, why do they gotta do that?
yeah, I don't know. But like thinking about it, like there's no one that I could see that's like a clear like path to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think Blair, but even then she could still get her way out of it.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm just, I have a lot of questions and I
Mhm.
just hope that they'll be answered. Plus, I hope that we never see Pearson again after this because he's
Yeah.
honestly just annoying.
Yeah. Same. I'm just wondering though if like the reason that the like feds are gonna be there is because of this Eric Ramsey person. Like if he's like so
Hmm.
high up and into some like because like
Yeah.
when they were like he's heavily protected, his home is a fortress, and I'm like, mm, yeah, okay. So like if Monica needs criminal help, maybe the LAPD will need federal help. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just so much. Which thank
Hmm.
God there's a part two because hopefully all
Yeah.
of this will, well, not all be wrapped up because obviously there will be a cliffhanger. Um,
Right.
but
Plus, like the
hopefully,
rookie always does a good job at setting up the villains for the next season in the
mm,
season finale. So
mhm,
that's why I'm kind of like, okay, there's quite a few villains in this one.
that's true.
Like, you could kind of count Pearson as one.
Yeah.
He's out for the Wilshire district.
Mhm,
Um, you could count Blair as one. She could easily come back. Monica. I don't know. Like,
mhm,
even Oscar's in it at this point. So like who knows? But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
mhm,
We only have a couple of days until then. And then we're like at a loss.
mhm. Yeah.
We do have some listener thoughts. So Hannah had said, OMG, this season has been so good. Last night's episode was unreal. Loved Sergeant Gray and how supportive he was of his people. I liked how much he had their back. The Batista storyline is good. I think it'll carry over to next season. Monica is a big time bad person. The Chenford hug gave me life, and Dr. London better get it together and do the right thing. Holy heck, did the promo for next week have me excited? Same.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. I don't know. This Batista stuff could definitely carry over into the next season. Like I said, they definitely do a good job of like setting up their villain arcs for the next season in the season finale. Like last season, we had that bank robbery or whatever
Mhm.
that we didn't have much more of those people after, but yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I guess last season finale, no one died. It was just Aaron was shot, and we
Yeah.
thought he could, and then he
Mhm.
didn't. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Thankfully. Yeah. My goodness.
So,
Yeah. So Francesca said the episode was great, but it introduced so many new characters, it was hard to keep up. Uh, they're thinking some of them are set up for next season. Christian Batista seemed like a longer term villain. I am nervous that Lucy's cover will be outed in the final moments of the finale. Oh, I didn't even think of that.
mhm.
Like Lucy's cover and all of this. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, people were seeing her in the behind the scenes footage after the explosion or whatever. Or no, the explosion was last episode, but like there was something else and she's like still undercover. And then she was in the laundromat scene. So like how does she get out of her undercover phase to go help them? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
How does she get out of that? But
Yeah. And then Francesca said, so excited we'll see some feds back in the show next week. Same.
yeah. I think that's one of the things that I'm most excited about.
I know, like those like 0.5 seconds, because I guarantee you we will have like the
A minute of
explanation
them.
as to why like Laura cut her hair or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I know it was a Brit thing, but like still I'm like, I
Yeah.
want more than 0.5 seconds, but it will sustain me. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I feel like we'll get like a scene.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I need to know that Brendan is no longer a rookie though. There's no way that he still is, right?
I mean, yeah, if we're talking in canon character timeline, they were already what, like
Yeah.
halfway through their rookie
Yeah.
point or whatever.
I just like I need them back more in season 7 for like guest roles.
Yeah, like if it's even a possibility, because once they open that door, they can't just like slam it in our face.
Right.
I'll be so fucking sad if they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if you're doing it in this one, like you gotta bring them back. And not in every episode. And I don't even
Oh
necessarily
goodness,
need
no.
multiple feds in an episode. But like just have Brendan like come in and like drop files by or like help out on a case, something. I just need like a little like nugget of it, please.
Yeah.
That's all that I'm asking for at this point. Mandy said, I love how John got around the investigation by using his union rep position and not only exposed Blair, but those she is working with as well. Gray and Angela also rocked. He always says his team's back and Angela will always be there for Tim. He is family. Looking forward to the season finale next week. I really hope Monica's character ends soon. See, I feel like she's going to be the one that gets by unscathed, though, because she's
Oh,
just that smart.
oh God. I mean, probably. I just, uh,
I don't know. I don't
shenanigans.
think they'll kill her off. I think she'll be one that like somehow gets by unscathed. I don't
Yeah.
know. I also saw someone bring up the theory of Claire Ivy coming back, and I was kind of lost with that one. I was like, I
Oh
don't.
goodness. That was what? Was that season 4? Right?
I think so.
No.
I think it was
Yeah.
at
I
least a
don't
theory.
know.
I don't remember, but I was like, I'm not following on that one. So
Well, quite possibly, because she was the one that what, like evaded um prosecution like multiple
yeah,
times and like just left cops very, you know, dubious in
yeah.
her wake. Like, I mean,
Maybe they
I
were
don't
more
know.
so comparing her and Monica. I don't know, but
Maybe. Yeah. No idea. No idea. Kate had said Nolan deserves some appreciation for going above and beyond because as a union rep, he's only required to protect the officer. He acted as a friend for 90% of the episode. Also, Kate facepalmed when he handed Selena his coffee. I mean, same. Once I saw it, I couldn't
yeah.
unsee it.
That is a good point. Like he acted as a friend for 90% of the episode. Like he is only required to protect the officer, but he went above and beyond for that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Hmm.
Jen said the episode was so, 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 so good. Yes.
Hmm.
It definitely like I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. It's like,
Yeah.
what is gonna happen next?
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Same. Shannon said it was really, really great, so intense and action-packed, a powerful episode. The show just keeps getting better and better.
I agree.
Agreed.
And that is why we need the rookie around for like 7 more seasons, please.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could continue it because it is titled The Rookie. They will need new rookie officers. So,
Yep. Just
why
keep
not?
churning it out. Yeah.
Any other notes on this episode?
No, I'll just be freaking out on Twitter about Fed still. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, that was like the very first thing that we texted about after the episode. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
even anything about the actual episode. It was
No.
about the promo. And I was
Yeah.
like, this tracks. I love this.
Yeah. All the misspellings in those texts, I swear. I was just
Yeah.
like not a coherent person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
fine.
was just like, I'd seen Garza and then I looked and I was like, I think that's Kevin. I'm pretty sure that is.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean,
And then
listen, we
like I was waiting for one of the Fed's cast members to say something. And then
yeah,
Kevin finally did, and I was like, it was true.
yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, listen, we are also very excited to see all the stunts that
Yeah.
are going down, like just to see how that all comes together because we had literally a lot of moving parts in this
Yeah.
next part of the season finale. So yeah, we're looking forward to everything
Yes.
for sure.
The Feds coming back is just an added bonus.
Yeah, a very unexpected.
This week was like Christmas for us in the rookie universe
Mhm.
with upfronts, news
Yeah.
about like when they're coming back,
Yeah,
interviews, content,
yeah,
the promo for next week. I mean, it
yeah.
was just, I don't know. It was one of the best weeks. And the rookie just continues to not let us down, I feel like. Like
Mhm.
some storylines we would like to see flourish a little bit better,
Yeah.
or, some not at all, depending on
Mhm.
who you are and who you're a fan of. But they never let us down in terms of content.
Yeah.
Oh, and the post that ABC made about some TikTok stars made it to the upper.
It took me an embarrassingly long time to before that caption like caught up with me because I was like,
Yeah.
what are they talking about? And then I was like, oh, right, duh.
Yeah.
Like blame it on Eric.
And the way that Eric was the very first picture in the
Yeah.
carousel too, I was like, this is everything.
Yeah.
And Sean was in it. It was like, or someone was like, wait, does that mean Sean has TikTok now? And I'm like, didn't he kind of hint at it like a while ago, but he's
Oh,
never
did he? I
posted.
don't know.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
Sean, if you are on TikTok, please post. Like, we would love the content. So,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
But, oh my God, I think we're all talked out.
Yeah. Well, on that note, you guys can find us on Twitter at the Shop Talk Pod _ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. Or you can, we always like DMs too. You can,
Mhm.
message us there, comment, whatever. Just tweet at us.
Scream about
We'll
Feds
see
with
it.
us. That's
Yeah,
fine.
totally fine. And we are also individually on Twitter as well. I'm at Carrie Hyman.
And I'm at JStark804.
And we are on TikTok. Speaking of TikTokers, we
Mhm.
are at the Shop Talk Podcast _ there. So be sure to give us a follow there too if you haven't already. And as always, we have our TeePublic store for merch. Yeah, there's lots of, I mean, listen, we still got the 100th episode designs going on there. Like those are fun. Check those
Yeah.
out if you haven't already. Um, but yeah, I mean, listen, on that, we'll be back next week for more chaos covering the
Mhm.
second half of the season finale. So, yeah, looking forward to talking with everyone then.
Yeah. And we should be back to our normal schedule,
Yeah, for the
dropping the
most part.
episode on Thursday. But we'll let you know if anything changes. We very well could be still processing the second half of the season finale. So,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. But until then, bye everyone.
Bye, guys.
Go get him, boo.